Welcome to Raw Selection's YouTube channel, here for another book review. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you do like this video, hit the like button. This book is all about the 5 temptations of a CEO. Again, from Patrick Lencioni, my favorite author on leadership and people management. Here's the book, The 5 Temptations of a CEO by Patrick Lencioni. This again is a fable, and it's all about a young chief executive who is failing at his job and the business, and he doesn't know why. The key takeaways here, as he regards as the 5 temptations. So temptation number 1 is choosing status over results. Promising executives as they come up through their career are all results maniacs. They're all about getting the next thing, achieving the next thing, onwards and onwards. But when you achieve Chief Executive Officer, there is no further up. There is only down. And this is where a lot of executives, according to Patrick, begin to put their status above results, and that they will protect their own career and their own position rather than focusing on the results of the business. Typically, chief executives will protect their ego, they will protect their status, and they will do one key mistake. They will avoid making mistakes, which takes them mainly to the position of actually not making any decisions. It's also a key reason why people don't like to hire people who are better than them, because they feel threatened. You'll see a list of founders of organizations that are consistently talking about hiring people better than them, because it's more about the business growth than it is their position. No one's going to take away the founder of an organization in its truest form. Steve Jobs is a bit of an example of that, but obviously did leave. But you can't take away the fact that he founded that business. When you put into a position of chief executive, you can be removed from that organization. So it's making sure that you are focusing on the results and not protecting your position, and you are hiring the best possible people to grow and develop the organization, even if you think that they threaten your position, gives you the opportunity to be better. The recommendation from Patrick here is to make results the most important measure of the job. Temptation 2 is choosing popularity over accountability. The managers here that fail are the managers that choose popularity over holding their people to account. In the fable here, it talks about the people underneath the chief executive and them not performing. But what the newly promoted chief executive doesn't do is he doesn't challenge, he doesn't have conversations, and he doesn't get into discussions to hold his people accountable. What he does is avoid the situation until the very end when he exits the individual, and then he's bulked his conversations and discussions and accountability prior, and then the person gets exited when it could have been changed or could have been altered very much earlier, or the person would have left much sooner than that would have happened. The recommendation from Patrick here is to work for the long-term respect of your team members and not for the short-term of their affection. And a clear message from him is to remember that your people will not like you, regardless of their situation, if they fail at their job. Temptation number 3 is choosing certainty over clarity. This comes back and links slightly to temptation number 1. It's that inability to be able to make decisions. And this is because they want all of the information prior to making a decision. Again, Jeff Bezos outside this book talks a lot about executives are there to make good decisions. And if he can make one good decision today, then he's done his job. Now for this, it's about not having all the detail and all the information. And this, reflecting back from my career of growing and developing Raw Selection, I've been paralyzed by this multiple times, is that I've needed all the information to make a good decision. What is important here is the old fail. You're going to fail fast. Is making decisions on 80, 70, 60% of the information, making a good decision at the time, executing on that, and working fast. Again, comes back to the status element of not wanting to make a bad decision, but you can't have all the information of every single little bit of detail to be able to execute. You have to operate in in a level of grey and a level of misunderstanding, because you cannot have everything, or your competitors will overtake you because they'll make decisions quicker. Patrick's clear message here is to make clarity more important than accuracy. And that if the decision turns out to be wrong, change the plan and go with the new information. But as long as you fail fast, then it's all good. Temptation number 4 is choosing harmony over productive conflict. This is again slightly linked to number 2. It's not wanting to have a disrupted or a conflict discussion with any of your employees. Because of a manager's desire or chief executive's desire for harmony within the business, within the senior leadership team and the subordinates below that, cross here is that it's better to agree than to disagree. It discusses in the fable that harmony can restrict challenging conversations that take the business forward. It promotes that the best decisions are made during healthy debates, healthy conflict, and challenging each other's ideas. It puts the position that everybody's ideas can be executed on and are correct, but everybody has the opportunity to be heard and put their perspective into the mix to come towards the right or the clarity discussion and the clarity moving forward. The message from here for Patrick and the advice for chief executives is that they should tolerate discord, that they should encourage environments where their people have heated conflict discussions that bring different ideas to the table and allow everybody to have a conversation. As long as it remains professional and doesn't turn into he said, she says, or any kind of name calling, it has to be professional. But everybody has to have their voice. Everybody has to have the opportunity to challenge other people's thinking in a productive manner. And it's the chief executive's or the leader's role to ensure that that is retained and to challenge any behavior that goes outside of that would stop somebody from sharing their voice in the future. Temptation 5 is choosing invulnerability over trust. This is when a chief executive doesn't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to make mistakes. They see themselves as having to be perfect. Every part of their execution they have to get right. If they've made the wrong decision, it's someone else's fault, or they never came to that conclusion, or they continue anyway, even though everything's pointing towards that was the wrong move. Executives have to be vulnerable. Executives have to show their people that they are not perfect, and they have to show themselves that they are capable of making mistakes, saying I'm sorry, saying I did this, we should have done that, and making a call to then change course. One of the key parts and recommendations for Patrick here is getting your people to actively challenge your ideas. If you have people around you that when you share an idea, there's multiple people coming in and going, not sure about that, not sure about this. Again, it comes back to challenging conflicted discussions and allowing people the opportunity to say, I'm not sure because I've seen this or I've seen that. That concludes the book review for the 5 Temptations of a CEO. Watch out for the next book review coming out soon. Thank you very much for watching.